Have you ever looked in the mirror and noticed something different about yourself? Maybe your eyes seem brighter, or your skin has a new glow. What if these changes weren't just random, but actually signs of your spiritual growth? Today, we're diving into 8 weird changes in your looks that might show you're moving forward on your spiritual path. These aren't your usual signs. They're the kind of things that might make you do a double take. But don't worry, we'll break it all down and explain why these changes might be happening. So if you've been feeling different lately, both inside and out, stick around. You might just discover that your body is trying to tell you something amazing about your spiritual journey. Before we jump into the strange changes, let's talk about what spiritual growth really means. It's not about following a specific religion or believing in certain things. Spiritual growth is more about getting to know yourself better, understanding the world around you, and feeling more connected to everything. It's like when you learn something new and suddenly see the world differently. That's spiritual growth. It can happen to anyone, anywhere, at any time. And the cool thing is, sometimes your body shows signs of this growth in ways you might not expect. Now, you might be wondering, why would my spiritual growth show up in my body? Well, think of it this way. Your body, mind, and spirit are all connected. They're like different parts of the same team. When one part grows or changes, the others often follow. It's like when you're really happy and you can't help but smile. Your inner feelings show up on the outside. The same thing can happen with spiritual growth. As you become more aware, more connected, or more at peace, your body might start to reflect these inner changes in some pretty interesting ways. Let's get to the good stuff. The 8 strange changes you might notice. Remember, everyone's journey is different, so you might see some of these changes but not others. That's totally okay. The important thing is to pay attention to your own unique experience. These changes aren't like a checklist you need to complete. They're more like signposts that might pop up along your path, giving you hints about your spiritual progress. First up, let's talk about your skin. Have you noticed it looking clearer or brighter lately? Even though you haven't changed your skincare routine, this glow isn't just about good genes or expensive creams. When you're growing spiritually, you might find your skin starts to look healthier and more radiant. It's like your inner light is shining through. Why does this happen? Well, spiritual growth often leads to less stress and more positive emotions. When you're not worrying so much and feeling more at peace, your body produces fewer stress hormones. These hormones can mess with your skin, causing breakouts or dullness. So, when you're more relaxed and content, your skin often shows it. Also, as you become more spiritually aware, you might naturally start taking better care of yourself. You might eat healthier foods, drink more water, or spend more time in nature. All of these things can give your skin a boost. But here's the really interesting part. Some people believe that as you raise your spiritual energy or vibration, it actually affects your physical selves. They say this higher energy can make your skin look more alive and glowing. While science hasn't proven this yet, many people on a spiritual path report seeing this change in themselves. Now, this one might sound a bit out there, but stick with me. Some people notice their eyes changing as they grow spiritually. No, I don't mean your brown eyes will suddenly turn blue. It's usually more subtle than that. You might notice your eyes looking brighter, or the colors seeming deeper or more vibrant. In some traditions, eyes are called the windows to the soul. This idea suggests that as your inner self grows and changes, it might show up in your eyes. You might catch a new spark or depth in your gaze when you look in the mirror. There's also a practical side to this. As you grow spiritually, you often become more observant and present in the moment. This heightened awareness can make your eyes appear more alert and bright. It's like the difference between someone who's fully engaged in a conversation and someone who's daydreaming. The engaged person's eyes usually look more alive and bright. Some people even report that others start to comment on their eyes, saying things like, "There's something different about you," or "Your eyes look so clear today." It's as if others can sense the change in you, even if they can't quite put their finger on what it is. Here's a change that might surprise you. Some people find their weight shifting as they grow spiritually, even without changing their diet or exercise habits. This can go either way. some people lose weight while others gain a bit. But why would spiritual growth affect your weight? Think about it this way. Spiritual growth often involves letting go of old emotional baggage. You might work through past hurts, let go of grudges, or release limiting beliefs. As you do this inner work, your body might respond by letting go of extra weight it's been holding on to. It's like your body is physically releasing what you've emotionally released. On the flip side, some people find they gain a bit of weight. This isn't about getting unhealthy. Instead, it can be a sign of becoming more grounded and present in your body. As you become more spiritually aware, you might stop fighting against your natural body type and settle into a weight that's actually healthier for you. It's important to note that this change isn't about reaching a specific number on the scale. It's more about your body finding its natural balance as you become more balanced spiritually. You might notice your clothes fitting differently, or you might just feel more comfortable in your own skin. Have you caught yourself standing taller lately? Maybe you've noticed you're not slouching as much when you sit. If so, this could be another sign of your spiritual growth. Improved posture, without consciously trying to change it, is a common physical change that people experience on their spiritual journey. But how does growing spiritually lead to better posture? It's all about confidence and self-awareness. As you develop spiritually, you often gain a stronger sense of self. You become more comfortable with who you are and more confident in your place in the world. This inner confidence naturally translates to how you carry yourself physically. Think about it. When you feel unsure or want to hide, you might hunch your shoulders or curl inward. But when you feel strong and centered, you naturally stand taller and open your chest. It's like your body is expressing your inner state without you even realizing it. Spiritual growth also often involves practices like meditation or mindfulness, which increase your body awareness. As you become more tuned into your body, you might naturally adjust your posture to feel more comfortable and aligned. You might find yourself automatically sitting up straighter or walking with more grace. This change in posture can have a ripple effect on your well-being. Standing and sitting taller can help you breathe more deeply, which can further reduce stress and increase your energy. It can also help prevent back pain and other physical discomforts. So this seemingly small change can actually have a big impact on how you feel day to day. Let's talk about sleep. As you grow spiritually, you might notice some interesting changes in your sleep patterns. These changes can vary from person to person, but they're often quite noticeable. One common change is needing less sleep. You might find yourself naturally waking up earlier, feeling refreshed even though you've slept less than usual. This doesn't mean you're sleep deprived. Instead, it's like your body is becoming more efficient at restoring itself during sleep. Why does this happen? Some believe that as you raise your spiritual energy or vibration, your body needs less downtime to recharge. It's like upgrading from an old phone that needs charging every few hours to a new model with a long-lasting battery. On the flip side, some people find they need more sleep during periods of intense spiritual growth. This is especially common if you're going through a lot of inner changes or processing old emotions. In this case, the extra sleep gives your body and mind the time they need to integrate these changes. You might also notice changes in the quality of your sleep. Many people report having more vivid or meaningful dreams as they grow spiritually. These dreams might feel more real or leave a stronger impression when you wake up. Some even find they start remembering their dreams more often. Another interesting sleep change is waking up at specific times during the night. Some people consistently wake up around 3 or 4 a.m., which some spiritual traditions call the spiritual hour or holy hour. If this happens to you, don't worry. It's not insomnia. Many find this time particularly peaceful and use it for meditation or reflection. As you progress on your spiritual path, you might start to notice the world around you more vividly. This is often described as a heightening of the senses, and it can be quite an amazing experience. Let's start with your sense of sight. Colors might seem brighter or more vibrant. You might notice details in your environment that you've never seen before, even in familiar places. It's like someone turned up the resolution on the world around you. Your sense of smell might become more acute too. You might pick up on subtle scents that you never noticed before. This could be the faint smell of flowers as you walk down the street, or the complex aroma of your food that you previously overlooked. Sounds can also become clearer or more distinct. You might start to hear layers in music that you never noticed before, or you might become more aware of the subtle sounds in nature, like the rustle of leaves in the wind or the distant call of birds. Even your sense of touch might feel more sensitive. You might become more aware of the textures of things you touch, or more attuned to the feeling of the air on your skin. This heightening of the senses isn't about developing superhuman abilities. Instead, it's about becoming more present and aware in your daily life. As you grow spiritually, you often become more mindful and attentive to the present moment. This increased awareness naturally extends to your physical senses. Some people also report developing a stronger sixth sense or intuition. You might find yourself having hunches that turn out to be right, or sensing things about people or situations without knowing how you know. It's important to note that this heightened sensitivity can sometimes feel overwhelming at first. You might find yourself more affected by loud noises or strong smells. If this happens, don't worry. It's usually temporary as your body adjusts to this new level of awareness. Have you been feeling unusually energetic lately? Or maybe you've noticed a sense of lightness, as if a weight has been lifted off your shoulders? This increase in energy or feeling of lightness is another common physical sign of spiritual growth. This change often surprises people because it's not the kind of energy you get from caffeine or a good night's sleep. It's a deeper, more consistent sense of vitality. You might find yourself needing less rest between activities or feeling more enthusiastic about tackling your daily tasks. Where does this energy come from? Well, spiritual growth often involves clearing out old emotional baggage and limiting beliefs. As you let go of these heavy emotional loads, you naturally feel lighter. It's like you've been carrying a heavy backpack for years, and suddenly you've taken it off. You didn't even realize how much it was weighing you down until it was gone. This lightness isn't just emotional. It can feel physical too. Some people describe it as feeling like they could float away or like gravity has less of a hold on them. Don't worry, you won't actually float off the ground, but you might notice that you move more easily with less effort. The increased energy often comes with a sense of purpose or excitement about life. As you connect more deeply with your true self and your place in the world, you might find yourself more motivated and inspired. Things that used to drain you might now energize you. This energy boost can show up in various ways in your life. You might find yourself taking on new projects or hobbies. You might feel more creative or productive at work. Or you might simply enjoy your daily activities more, finding joy in things you used to consider mundane. It's worth noting that this energy increase usually feels different from the jittery energy of stress or anxiety. Instead, it's often described as a calm, steady flow of vitality. You're energized, but also grounded and centered. Now, this change might not be as immediately noticeable as some of the others, but it's a powerful one. Many people find that as they grow spiritually, their bodies seem to heal faster and their immune systems get stronger. You might notice that cuts and bruises heal more quickly than they used to. Or maybe you're getting sick less often, or recovering faster when you do catch a cold. Some people even report chronic health issues improving or disappearing as they progress on their spiritual path. But how does spiritual growth lead to better physical health? There are a few ways this might happen. First, spiritual growth often involves reducing stress and negative emotions. Stress is known to weaken the immune system. So as you become more peaceful and balanced, your body's natural defenses get stronger. Also, many spiritual practices like meditation or yoga have been scientifically shown to boost the immune system. These practices help lower stress hormones and increase the body's production of cells that fight off illness. Another factor is that spiritual growth often leads to better self-care. As you become more in tune with yourself, you might naturally start making healthier choices. You might eat better, exercise more, or prioritize sleep. All of these habits contribute to a stronger, healthier body. Some spiritual traditions believe that as you raise your energy or vibration, Your body's natural healing abilities are enhanced. While this idea hasn't been scientifically proven, many people report experiencing it. It's important to note that this doesn't mean you'll never get sick or injured, but you might find that when you do, you bounce back more quickly. You might also notice that you're more in tune with your body's needs, able to sense when you need rest or when something's not quite right. This improved health and healing can have a big impact on your daily life. You might find you have more energy for the things you love. You might feel more resilient in the face of stress or challenges. And you might simply enjoy a greater sense of well-being and vitality. Before we wrap up, it's important to remember a few things. First, while these changes can be signs of spiritual growth, they're not the only signs, and you don't need to experience all of them to be growing spiritually. Everyone's journey is unique. Second, if you notice sudden or dramatic changes in your body, it's always a good idea to check with a doctor. While these changes are often positive, it's important to rule out any medical issues. Lastly, don't get too caught up in looking for these signs. The most important part of spiritual growth is your inner experience, how you feel, how you treat others, and how you view the world. These physical changes are just interesting side effects of the real growth happening inside you. Remember, spiritual growth is a journey, not a destination. These changes might come and go, or they might develop slowly over time. The key is to stay open, curious, and kind to yourself as you continue on your path. Let's talk about something you might not expect: changes in your hair. As strange as it sounds, many people on a spiritual journey notice their hair changing. It's not like you'll wake up with a completely different hair color, but you might see some interesting shifts. First, let's talk about texture. Some people find their hair becoming softer or silkier as they grow spiritually. It might feel healthier or more manageable, even if you haven't changed your hair care routine. This could be linked to overall better health that often comes with spiritual growth. When you're less stressed and taking better care of yourself, it can show in your hair. Others notice changes in how fast their hair grows. You might find your hair growing quicker than usual, or maybe it's growing in thicker. Some even report new hair growth in areas where they were starting to thin out. While we can't say for sure why this happens, some believe it's connected to increased energy flow in the body. Interestingly, some people experience the opposite. Their hair might start to thin out or even turn gray faster. But don't worry, this isn't a bad sign. In some spiritual traditions, this is seen as a sign of wisdom and spiritual maturity. It's like your outer appearance is catching up with your inner growth. You might also notice changes in how your hair behaves. Maybe it suddenly holds a style better, or perhaps it's becoming more curly or wavy. Some people find their hair developing a natural shine or luster that wasn't there before. It's important to remember that these changes usually happen gradually. You probably won't wake up one day with completely different hair. Instead, you might notice over time that your hair just seems healthier or different in subtle ways. Of course, hair changes can happen for lots of reasons: age, diet, stress, hormones. But if you're experiencing other signs of spiritual growth and notice your hair changing too, it might be more than just coincidence. Now, let's talk about something we all deal with every day: food. As you grow spiritually, you might notice some surprising changes in what you want to eat or how much you're eating. These shifts can be quite dramatic for some people. One common change is a sudden desire for healthier foods. You might find yourself craving more fruits and vegetables, or feeling drawn to whole, natural foods. Foods you used to love might not appeal to you as much anymore. It's like your body is naturally guiding you towards foods that support your spiritual growth. Some people find they're no longer interested in meat or animal products. This doesn't mean everyone on a spiritual path becomes vegetarian or vegan, but some people do feel a strong pull in that direction. They might feel more connected to animals or more aware of the environmental impact of their food choices. You might also notice changes in how much you eat. Some people find they need less food as they grow spiritually. It's not about dieting or restricting yourself. Instead, it's like your body becomes more efficient at using the energy from food. You might feel satisfied with smaller portions or find you're not snacking as much between meals. On the flip side, some people experience an increase in appetite during periods of intense spiritual growth. This might be your body's way of getting more energy to support the changes you're going through. If this happens, listen to your body and eat when you're hungry, but try to choose nourishing foods. Interestingly, some people develop new sensitivities to certain foods. You might find that caffeine affects you more strongly, or that you can't tolerate processed foods like you used to. This could be because your body is becoming more sensitive and aware as you grow spiritually. You might also notice changes in how you experience food. Colors might seem more vibrant, flavors more intense. You might find yourself more aware of the textures and smells of your food. This ties into the heightened senses we talked about earlier. Some people report feeling more connected to their food. You might find yourself more grateful for your meals or more interested in where your food comes from. This can lead to more mindful eating habits, where you really pay attention to and enjoy each bite. Remember, these changes are usually gradual. You probably won't wake up one day suddenly hating all your favorite foods. Instead, you might notice your taste shifting slowly over time. And not everyone experiences all these changes. Your journey is unique to you. As you progress on your spiritual path, you might start noticing that you're more sensitive to your surroundings. This isn't just about noticing more details, though that can be part of it. It's about feeling more affected by the environment around you. Let's start with physical spaces. You might find that certain places feel more comfortable or energizing to you, while others feel draining. This could be as broad as preferring nature to cities, or as specific as feeling great in one room of your house, but uneasy in another. Some people describe this as sensing the energy or vibe of a place. This sensitivity can extend to the people around you too. You might become more aware of others' moods or emotions, even if they're not expressing them openly. Some people find they can feel tension in a room or pick up on someone's true feelings, even if that person is trying to hide them. You might also become more sensitive to noise. Loud or harsh sounds might bother you more than they used to. On the flip side, you might find yourself more deeply moved by beautiful music or natural sounds like bird song or flowing water. Light can affect you differently too. You might prefer softer, natural light and find harsh, artificial lighting uncomfortable. Some people even report seeing subtle energies or auras around people or objects, though this isn't a common experience for everyone. Your sense of smell might become more acute. You could find yourself more bothered by strong artificial scents like perfumes or cleaning products. At the same time, you might gain a deeper appreciation for natural scents like essential oils or flowers. This increased sensitivity can extend to the digital world too. You might find you need to limit your time on social media or watching the news because you feel more affected by the information and emotions you encounter there. Weather in nature might impact you more strongly. You could feel more energized on sunny days or more introspective when it's cloudy. Some people report feeling a stronger connection to the cycles of nature, like the changing seasons or the phases of the moon. It's worth noting that this increased sensitivity can sometimes feel overwhelming. You might find yourself needing more alone time or quiet time to recharge. Some people find they need to make changes to their environment, like decluttering their home or creating a peaceful space for relaxation. While this sensitivity can be challenging at times, it's often seen as a positive sign of spiritual growth. It means you're becoming more aware and more connected to the world around you. You're picking up on subtleties that you might have missed before. As with all these changes, the key is to be patient with yourself as you adjust. Pay attention to what makes you feel good and what doesn't. Don't be afraid to make changes to your environment or daily habits to support your new sensitivities. Remember, this is all part of your unique spiritual journey. As we explore these strange physical changes that can come with spiritual growth, it's natural to have questions. Let's address some of the most common ones people ask when they start noticing these shifts in themselves. Are these changes permanent? This is a big one. The truth is it can vary. Some changes might stick around, becoming your new normal. Others might come and go as you move through different phases of your spiritual journey. For example, that glow in your skin might become a lasting feature, while changes in your sleep patterns might fluctuate over time. What if I'm not experiencing any of these changes? Don't worry. Remember, everyone's spiritual path is unique. You might experience some of these changes, but not others. Or you might have different physical signs altogether. The absence of these specific changes doesn't mean you're not growing spiritually. The most important signs are often internal: how you feel, how you treat others, and how you view the world. Could these changes be caused by something else? It's a fair question. Many of these physical changes could have other causes: diet, exercise, age, or medical conditions. That's why it's always a good idea to check with a doctor if you notice significant changes in your body, especially if they happen suddenly. What makes these changes potentially linked to spiritual growth is when they occur alongside other spiritual experiences or insights. Is it normal to feel overwhelmed by these changes? Absolutely. Any kind of change can be overwhelming, even positive ones. Spiritual growth often involves becoming more sensitive and aware, which can sometimes feel intense. If you're feeling overwhelmed, it's okay to take things slow. Give yourself time to adjust and don't hesitate to seek support from others on a similar path. Can I speed up these changes? While it's natural to want to progress quickly, try not to focus too much on the physical signs. They're more like side effects of your inner growth, not the goal itself. Instead, focus on your spiritual practices, self-reflection, and personal growth. The physical changes will come naturally as you progress. What if I experience changes not mentioned here? That's great. This list isn't exhaustive. You might have your own unique physical signs of spiritual growth. Trust your experience and maybe even keep a journal to track the changes you notice. Remember, these physical changes are interesting signposts on your journey, but they're not the journey itself. The real growth happens inside you, in how you understand yourself and the world around you. Now that we've explored these fascinating physical changes, you might be wondering how to support your spiritual growth. Here are some practical tips that can help nurture your spiritual journey, regardless of whether you're experiencing these physical changes or not. First, develop a regular meditation practice. It doesn't have to be long. Even 5 to 10 minutes a day can make a big difference. Meditation helps you become more aware of your thoughts and feelings, and can increase your overall sense of peace and connection. Next, spend time in nature. Many people find that being in natural settings helps them feel more grounded and connected to something bigger than themselves. Whether it's a walk in the park, gardening, or sitting by a lake, find ways to connect with the natural world regularly. Practice gratitude. Take time each day to think about what you're thankful for. This simple practice can shift your focus from what's lacking to what's abundant in your life, fostering a more positive outlook. Be mindful of what you consume, not just food, but also media and information. Pay attention to how different inputs make you feel. You might find yourself naturally drawn to more positive, uplifting content as you grow spiritually. Explore different spiritual teachings and practices. Read books, attend workshops, or join groups that resonate with you. Remember, spirituality is a personal journey. What works for someone else might not work for you, and that's okay. Practice kindness and compassion, both towards others and yourself. Spiritual growth often involves becoming more aware of our interconnectedness with others. Small acts of kindness can have a big impact on your own spiritual well-being as well as others. Take care of your physical health. While spiritual growth is an inner journey, it's closely connected to your physical well-being. Eat nourishing foods, get regular exercise, and make sure you're getting enough rest. Keep a journal. Writing down your thoughts, experiences, and any changes you notice can help you track your growth over time. It's also a great tool for self-reflection. Be patient with yourself. Spiritual growth is a lifelong journey, not a race. There will be ups and downs, times of rapid growth, and times when you feel stuck. That's all normal and part of the process. Lastly, stay open and curious. Spiritual growth often involves challenging our existing beliefs and being open to new perspectives. Approach your journey with a sense of wonder and openness to learn. Remember, these are suggestions, not rules. Feel free to adapt them to fit your own life and what feels right for you. The most important thing is to find practices that resonate with you and help you feel more connected, aware, and at peace. As we wrap up our exploration of these 8 strange changes in your physical appearance that might reveal your spiritual advancement, let's take a moment to reflect on what we've learned. We've journeyed through a range of fascinating physical changes, from glowing skin and brighter eyes to shifts in weight, posture, and even hair texture. We've explored how spiritual growth might affect your sleep patterns, energy levels, and even your relationship with food. We've also discussed increased sensitivity to your environment and heightened senses. But remember, these physical changes are just potential signs, not definitive proof of spiritual growth. The real essence of spiritual advancement lies in your inner world, your thoughts, emotions, beliefs, and how you interact with others and the world around you. It's important to approach these changes with curiosity and openness, rather than judgment or expectation. Everyone's spiritual journey is unique, and you might experience some, all, or none of these changes. And that's perfectly okay. The key takeaway is this: spiritual growth is a deeply personal journey that can manifest in many ways, sometimes even in our physical appearance. But it's not about chasing these physical changes. Instead, focus on your inner growth, on becoming more aware, compassionate, and connected to yourself and the world around you. As you continue on your spiritual path, stay open to the changes you might experience, but don't get too attached to them. Be patient with yourself, practice self-care, and remember that growth is often a gradual process with ups and downs. Whether you're just starting your spiritual journey or you've been on this path for a while, know that every step you take towards greater awareness and connection is valuable. Your journey is uniquely yours, and it's beautiful in its own right. So, as you go forward from here, pay attention to the subtle changes in yourself, both inner and outer. But most importantly, enjoy the journey. After all, spiritual growth isn't just about reaching a destination. It's about embracing the process of becoming more fully yourself.